mine, and a friend of mine told me, she's like, well, you know, Tzvi, what you just told me, what I'm about to tell you guys, it's not for you to say. Meaning, it's not your place to say it because you're not part of that community, so it's not your place to say it. At best, you should stay out of it. At worst, people might say that you are, you know, they might call me the R word, the racist. Um, yeah, it's not your place to say it. And then I responded. I said, well, listen, there are people in that community who say things, but they are called names as well. What am I talking about, my friends? I'm talking about. I'll tell you guys like this. I came to the United States with my family in 1987. In 1988, we moved to a neighborhood in Brooklyn called Gravesend. For those of you guys who don't know, it's basically Avenue Z and Ocean Parkway. So every once in a while, I used to walk from Avenue Z, and some of you guys are like bracing yourself. You know where I'm going with this. I used to walk on Avenue Z on Ocean Parkway. I used to go to the beach. I used to go to Brighton Beach. And when you walk, I'm sorry, on Ocean Parkway from Avenue Z to Brighton Beach, you pass a certain place called Lincoln High School. For those of you guys who know Lincoln High School, it is a predominantly African American high school in Brooklyn. It is actually the alma mater of some of you guys know, like Stephon Marbury, the basketball player. There was another basketball player by the name of his cousin, Sebastian Telfair, who actually just lost his mother, I think, and his sister or his brother to COVID. You know, both dynamite to them. So I would walk there and I would pass by and I would see African American youth, right? Just hanging out and, you know, behaving in a certain way. I'm going to leave it at that. So I have to understand something, guys. I'm at that point an 8-year-old Russian Jewish kid. I just came to America with my parents from the Ukraine, Russian speaking Jewish kid. I don't know anything about black culture. I don't know anything about, you know, the whole slavery thing. I don't know anything about the dynamic between white people and black people in America. I haven't a dog in the fight. I still don't. At that time, I especially did not, right? And I just see people behave a certain way, right? Okay, fast forward, it's the year 2020, right before I make Aliyah, and I go to visit my grandmother. I'm Brighton, and I pass by Lincoln High School, and what do I see? I see the same thing. I see the same group of kids doing the same things. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, Tzvi, if you were a Martian and you came to America to that exact spot, you landed on a spaceship and you landed on Avenue Z in Ocean Parkway, right next to Lincoln High School, in 1988, and then you saw what you saw, and then you left, you went home to Mars, and then you came back in the year 2020, and you came back, and you came back to that same spot, and you'd be like, what the hell? It's the same people, right? Obviously, it's not the same people, but you know who it is, my friends? You know who it is? It is the fatherless children of those people, or it is the children of those guys, maybe, who are probably either incarcerated, or in jail, or on whatever, maybe one on drugs or whatever. So now you guys might be thinking, "Oh my God, Svi, I can't believe you just said all these things. I can't believe you just said that. You shouldn't say that. Even if it's true, you shouldn't say that, Svi. It's not your place. You're not black. You're not part of the black community. You're a Jewish guy. You don't even live in America, even though you grew up in America and you know all about it. But you shouldn't say that. It's not your place to say." My friends, see, the thing is like this. If Candace Owens comes out and says the same things I just said, she is an Uncle Tom. If Bill Cosby, you know, his rapes notwithstanding, came out and said these things that I just said, and he did, he's an Uncle Tom. If a few other people come out, you know, Chris Rock came out and said in one of his skits, you know, like what, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he's an Uncle Tom. If Dave Chappelle comes out and says these things, he's an Uncle Tom. Any other black person comes out and says these things, he's an Uncle Tom. If a non-black person comes out and says these things like I just did, I'm a racist. So my friends, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because it seems to me that there's a systemic thing. But honestly, guys, I will tell you something. I don't think it's really the fault of the African American community, at least not entirely. I think it is partially the fault. If you look at what was happening in America in the 1950s and 1960s, um, if you look at the black community in the 1950s and even in the early 60s, you look at the African American family, they actually had nuclear families. They had a concept called nuclear family: a mother, a father. The father went to work, he was responsible, he took care of his kids. And then at some point, somewhere along the way, um, something happened. And basically, I don't know how this happened, but the Democratic Party in America basically managed to pull off this trick where they basically became essentially the new plantation owner of the American black people in the inner cities. You know, LBJ came out with this thing called the Great Society. He started giving, started the welfare programs. To be honest with you guys, I didn't research this in depth, but I don't really know how this happened. But all of a sudden, black families, excuse me, black families stopped. They started having this thing of like where basically, um, you know, black kids, especially black boys, were raised by a single mother. And then all of a sudden, you see a spike in crime, you see a spike in incarcerations. You know, if you go to any black community, basically since the late 60s, early 70s, and on through the 80s, chances are a young black male is not going to survive until he's 21. Unless, if you ask him what does he want to be, you know, who are his role models, it's either basketball players or rappers. My friends, Candace Owens says the same thing. She's an Uncle Tom. I'm saying this, you're going to go call me a racist, whatever. What I'm saying is, so now we have a situation. What's the situation now in the inner cities today? Go to any inner city in America. And I'm telling you guys again because I grew up partially in Brooklyn. Spent a lot of time in Brooklyn. I spent a lot of time in Manhattan. Go to any inner city in America. Go to Camden. Go to Philly. Go to Los Angeles. Go to Atlanta. Go to St. Louis. Go to any single African American impoverished community in America. And what's the situation? The situation is rampant, daily, like clockwork, black on black violence. And so what happens is now you have a situation where the cops that go into these places, especially places like Chicago, I was just watching this special on it today, to where the cops either don't even want to be there, you know, because they fear for their lives, because it's basically like Iraq. You know, there's a certain neighborhood in Chicago, in the South Side, they call it Chirac. It's Iraq. You go there, you get shot, right? Or the cops that are there are so high strung and are so adrenalined out that basically they're treating it as if they're in a war zone, which means that what? Any person that they come across, usually it's an African American male who's doing remotely something wrong, whether it was speeding, something simple as speeding or I don't know, loitering, and that's it. They have the reaction that they have. Again, I'm not justifying their reaction. I'm just giving you the scenario. I'm presenting you with a scenario, and I'm giving you historical and context and background, right? So now you have a situation with George Floyd. To be honest with you, I don't know if the cops necessarily. I don't know who the cop was. I didn't know the cop personally. From what I understand, the guy was looking in the camera as he was choking George Floyd, and he was looking in the camera like he was enjoying what he was doing. We later found out that those two guys actually worked together. George Floyd and the cop Chauvin, whatever his name is, Chauvin. They were working as bouncers in a club together. And it could be that that cop already had it out for that guy, right? But nevertheless, my friends, you're talking about cops in the inner city, and this is the situation. So now we have on the flip side, parallel to that, we have an organization called Black Lives Matter, and they walk around chanting the mantra of their organizations, Black Lives Matter. So my question to Black Lives Matter is, my friends, if Black lives truly do matter, and you may answer me and you may tell me that you are doing work on this front, because I haven't researched it, I just don't know. If Black lives truly do matter, do you know what I would like to see from you guys? I'm speaking to you as a person who wants African American people to succeed. I want them to do well, to succeed, to prosper, to thrive. I don't want them to be killed or incarcerated or on drugs. I want them to be healthy and happy and succeed. If you truly feel that Black lives do matter, what I want you to do tonight, instead of making a riot and looting Target or looting, I don't know, Walmart, what I want you to do tonight is go, take your shirts, take your placards, take your bullhorns, and go to the south side of Chicago and scream at the top of your lungs at all of the African American gang members who are killing each other. Scream Black Lives Matter at them, my friends, because it's only fair. If you're going to scream Black Lives Matter at cops, and you're well within your right to do so, you're absolutely right. There's no justification for the killing of this gentleman and killing of other black people on the streets by police officers. There is no justification for that. But there's a conversation that you're not having. There's a conversation you're not having with yourselves. There's a mirror you're not willing to look into. Just like I tell my Jewish brothers and sisters, the anti-Semite, he's got a point. I'll be the first to tell you, the anti-Semite's got a point. We shouldn't label everybody as an anti-Semite. Even if he's an anti-Semite and he hates us, and he's coming to us with what's called a taina, with a complaint, with a legitimate, argument about why we're behaving a certain way, there's a truth to that. We should listen to the guy. He's coming to show us a mirror, just like I'm coming to show you guys a mirror. If you don't want to look at it, that's your freaking problem. If you want to call me a racist, okay, you're well within your right to do so, even though I'm not. Otherwise, I wouldn't say a word. I would just sit and watch him back and relax and watch Twitter and watch the fun and grab popcorn, and I'm not, because this is upsetting me, because I'm tired of listening to this shit already, pardon my French. I'm tired of listening to this stuff on the news every 2 seconds about how, Camden is the murder capital of America, about how South Central is the murder capital of America, one of the murder capitals of Atlanta, St. Louis. I'm tired of, my mother went on a business trip to St. Louis. She was afraid to go to a certain part of St. Louis. Why? Because she was afraid to get shot. Not because she's white, just because she's afraid to get shot. If she was black, she'd probably be afraid too. Okay? And you guys may say, ooh, if you were black, you'd be an Uncle Tom, and you this, and you racist. No, guys, I'm just telling you the truth as I see it. I'm a Jew from the former Soviet Union. I don't have a dog in this fight. Okay? I came to America in the 80s, and since 1988 until 2020, nothing changed. But it just can't, for the life of me, it can't be an external reasons. It can't just be the white man. It can't just be the man. It can't just be systemic race. It can't just be that. It can't be that. That can't be the only thing that's causing you guys to not get your act together. It can't. It just can't. It can't. It's natural law. It's impossible. Just like it's impossible for the Palestinians to be refugees for 5 generations unless they try. Unless they really deliberately try, unless there was an organization, an entity in the UN called UNRWA deliberately keeping them refugees, and unless the Arabs are deliberately keeping them refugees. In your case, unless there's a certain political party named the Democrats that are deliberately keeping you poor and on welfare and downtrodden and not educated. My friends, yeah, there are some external factors. There are. But, at some point, I don't know. My friend told me, she's like, Tzvi, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't make this video. You shouldn't do it. It's not your place. Whose place is it? Whose place is it? Candace Owens? Uncle Tom? You guys call her? Bill Cosby? Who's in prison? Can't even speak? Whose place is it? My friends, I'm a Jew. We have a saying, Tikkun olam b'malchut Shaddai. Correct the world in the kingdom of Hashem, of God. I'm sorry, I want to help you guys. But the only way I can help you is if I take a mirror and go like this. Here, look at the mirror. I can't help a person who doesn't want to, admit to themselves their own shortcomings and faults. Or a group of people. I can't help you. You can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. Clearly, you guys don't want to be helped. All you want to do is say, well, we live in this situation, here are the cops, they're doing this, okay? Again, no justification what happened to Floyd. I'm just saying. Therefore, Black Lives Matter, therefore let's go riot and rob and steal. And perpetuate the stereotype that the cops are going after us for. Of the thief. and the rioter. My friends, I mean, like, seriously, you're perpetuating this. You are you're going around and you're saying, yo, the cops look at us as this and like that, and they stop us for no this and that and that. So what are you gonna do? Let me go rob a Walmart because I'm pissed. Oh yeah, cops are definitely gonna not think of you as a thief and a thug now. I mean, they're really gonna be on your side now, my friends. I mean, like, part of me thinks that this is just like white kids, these white lefty kids who are just inciting this stuff for their own political gain. They're using you guys. Part of me thinks that. I don't know, my friends. I really don't know. There's so much chaos going on in America. I don't even know what to think. But at the end of the day, it's infuriating. It's really infuriating because I cannot stand watching people who, you know, just you come to them and you tell them anything, and you're either a racist or you're an Uncle Tom or you're this or that and the other. I mean, I don't know. I mean, when does it end, my friends? When does it end? When does a black kid who expresses to his black friends that he wants to go to college or that he wants to be something, when does it end that they're gonna stop calling him a token, or that he wants to be white, or that he's an Uncle Tom? When does that end, my friends? Tell me. When does it stop? I mean, I remember when we came to America. I remember watching the Bill Cosby show, and I remember the family that was depicted on that show, and I was saying to myself, "Wow." Now here's a guy that's trying to change some stuff in his community. He's really trying to change some stuff. The son on the show, Theo, went to NYU, and then he had a whole discussion with his daughter. She wanted to go. What is it? She wanted to go to. He wanted her to go to his alma mater. It was like a black college, and she wanted to go to another black college. There was, what is it, like Hillman and some other, I think Howard or something like that. And they were having a discussion. Here's like a black father and his black daughter talking about which historically African American college she's going to go to. These are the conversations that African Americans should be having with their children. Not, I just got my welfare check and I'm going to buy you Air Jordans. No. I mean, my friends, like, this was the stuff. I was watching this and I was like, wow, like, they really turned the corner, and this guy's really helping them to do this. And then you go in front of Lincoln High School in the year 2020. As you guys like to say, ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string. Ain't nothing changed. And you guys had, I remember Tupac Shakur had songs he came out with. He was trying to send a message. I remember rappers came out with songs back in the day. They were trying to send a message to their own community, that we have to stop this and we have to, educate our kids and we have to this and we have to that. And all of a sudden, at some point, you guys started rapping about whole money, bitches, and hoes. And rims. What is it Chris Rock says? A white guy gets money, he's investing it. A black guy gets money, he's like, what's the first thing you gonna buy? Rims. When did it happen, my friends? When did it happen that rap music went from sending a message to just talking about, hoes and money and cars? My friends, you can call me whatever name you want. The truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. In the words of Eddie Murphy's character, Saul the Jew, coming to America, as a Boyd. As a Boyd.